Well, the Spyder Mach Blue also failed miserably in my impact driver test. So how does it do in a drill? Well, tonight we're going to find out. So this time I've got a very similar setup to when I tested the Ryobi and the first time I tested the Spyder Mach Blue with my impact driver. I've got a 2x4 clamped down to a 4x4. At this time, I drilled 16 pilot holes with a 9/64 drill bit, which should give it a better chance of surviving than using a 7/64. I will attempt to drive 16 of these 3-inch general purpose construction screws. As before, I've got my DeWalt DCD 777 with a 5 amp XR battery. I'm using a Bauer bit holder and the Spyder Mach Blue. I've got the drill in speed 2 and my clutch set at 13. So without further ado, I'm going to attempt to drive these screws and see how this bit survives. Must have hit a hard spot because my clutch is stopping it. Let me go up to 14. That's not sinking them all the way. The Spyder Mach Blue actually made it through 16, but that could have been the bigger pilot hole. The tip does show some damage. When I come back, I'm going to show you how a bit should perform. Okay, so I'm back. I drilled 16 more pilot holes with a 9/64 drill bit in between where I put the old screws. This time, still got the DCD 777, speed 2, clutch set at 14, but I'm going to use a Weha Terminator Blue, still in the Bauer bit holder. 16 3-inch construction screws. I'm going to set my clutch to 15. That buried it. Let me set it back to 14. Cam out. That's why I don't like using Phillips with a drill. All right, you saw that I did have cam out on several screws. If you look at that tip, it's got very little signs of wear. That's how a bit should hold up. Again, the cam out, I think a lot of it's caused by using a drill And this one does not fit these screws as well as it did some of the other screws I've used. Now, another thing, I might retry this with the rigid subcompact because that one has a soft start to prevent cam out. So even though it drove 16 screws successfully, it still shows quite a bit of damage on the tip. So that one's going to go in the trash as well.